Welcome back to another hair and makeup tutorial, and in honour of Halloween, this week I'm going to be turning our lovely model Kate Fenwick into an evil queen. So in part 1 I will be doing the makeup, and in part 2 I will be doing the hair. So I'm starting with Kate's makeup first because of the crown that I've made for her to wear. I don't really want her to be wearing that for, more time than she really needs. So we're going to start with the makeup first. So I'm going to leave the face bare for now and just work on the eyes because we're using quite dark colours. And basically if I did a perfect foundation on Kate now and then went in with lots of black eyeshadow, then it might drop down and then I'd have to clean that up and start again on the foundation. So this is just a good time-saving technique. So just close your eyes for me. So I'm going to go in with a dark purple cream eyeshadow. Now you can get cream eyeshadows from so many different places now. It doesn't really matter what brand you use, but this is a lovely long-wearing waterproof formula. And this doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm using this as a primer on the eyes, so this is just going to get as much colour down as possible fast, and then I can use that as a base. So I'm putting most of the colour on the centre of the eyelid and just using the brush, then whatever is on the brush, just to lightly blend out towards the brow. So that's just the first wash of colour. And then I'll do that on the other eye. So from the centre outwards, that's really what you want to be doing, is just blend it gently out towards the brow bone. Okay, and I'm going to take this colour underneath the eyes as well. So Kate, if you could just look up to the ceiling for me. And I'm going to take this a bit quite far down, so it's not going to be terribly neat, this look, because she's an evil queen and I want her to not be terribly pretty. It's going to be a bold look, definitely, but she's still got to look a bit menacing, I think. And this colour just works so perfectly with Kate's eyes. Really brings out the green. And this is another cream, kind of orangey red shade. I'm just going to take most of that off on my hand because I really only want a bit of a hint of that, and I'm just going to work that into the corner of the eye socket here to just have a flush of red there. I'm just going to pop a little bit more in the centre so that it just fades out. And the main focus really is the purple, so this is just going to be the only red on the face. I'm just taking it into the brow at the front there. And in a bit of a C shape, as you can see here. And that's the base purple and that kind of orangey red on. So if you just turn so that everyone can see your beautiful face, my dear. So I'm now going to go in with some dark purple eyeshadows. So if you just keep your eyes closed for me, I'm just going to use this on a slightly tapered fluffy brush, and I'm just going to work this shade into the outer corner of Kate's eye in a sort of triangle shape. So I'm being very, very light. Might not look like it, but I am being very, very light here. There's not much pressure on Kate's eye at all. And again, I'm just blending that very, very slightly to the brow bone. But you can see that I'm concentrating that shade right on the outer corner. So this is a dark purple matte shade. Doesn't have to be matte, could be anything you've got, really. And then just look up for me, Kate. I'm just going to take this under the eye as well. So we're building up in layers, in thin, fine layers. Lovely. So that dark purple is really concentrated on the outer corner of the eye. And then I'll just do that on the other eye. It's so soft. Yeah. It's like a little mini massage. Yeah. So there you go, that's with the darker purple on the outside of the eye. I'm just coming round and sort of blending it with the other shades. I'm just going to use a pale pearlescent purple. Oh, that's fun to say. Pale pearlescent purple, I like that. On the very centre of Kate's eyes. And just dabbing that on. So I've used a small flat synthetic brush for this. And as you can see, I'm not dragging the product. I've got the brush fairly flat with some of the product on the top, on the very tip of the brush. And then I'm just sort of patting it onto Kate's eyelid very gently. Lovely, and I'll do that with the other eye. So using a pale shadow, and especially a pearlescent one, in the centre of the eyelid just creates more of a 3D look. And you won't notice it so much when Kate has her eyes open, but every time she blinks you'll just see this flash of colour. Just makes it very, very pretty. There we go, yeah, so just close your eyes. Nice. So now I'm going to take a slightly paler purple. And again, I'm just taking a lot of the product off my brush before I put any on Kate's eyelids. So I'm just going to, dabbing a bit of the product there and then take a little bit off on your hand before you then apply it to the face. So I'm just going to pop that through Kate's brow bone now and work it into the area that I put the orangey red. So the product that I'm using is just on the very tip of this fluffy tapered brush, and I'm always sort of drawing a line with it, just the very tip of the brush, and you can tell I'm hardly putting any pressure on Kate's face at all. So I'm just drawing that on. Just going to extend it a little bit as well in the outer corner to a bit more of a point. So that's it, just with that slightly lighter purple just extended there into the corner and ever so slightly down the nose. Okay, so I'm going to start building up with some black now. And I've got a flat synthetic brush. And I'm just popping a little bit of product on the end again. And I'm just going to take some of that off because this is a very highly pigmented shadow. And I want to build up with this, you know, I don't want to put loads on and then regret it. So just close for me. Now this is going to be primarily on the outer corner of the eye, so this is going over the top of that aubergine, the dark purple that we used. And I'm just going to build up slowly with this black. So I'm using this in a V shape in the outer corner so you can really see where I'm placing it. It's just in a V shape in the outer corner. And look up for me, Kate. That's also going to go underneath the eye. I'm going to get a fluffy brush to the one that I use for the purple. I'm just going to buff that out ever so slightly. And look up again for me, Kate. Lovely. Okay, let's do that on the other side. So I'm going to take a bit more black on the brush that I used for the lighter purple, and I'm now going to, so where I put that paler purple here in the inner corner, I'm now just going to very, very gently add a bit of black. And just using the very tip of this brush. So I'm not connecting it to the rest of the eye makeup, the rest of the dark eye makeup. I'm going to blend that out with my trusty fluffy brush, and I'm just going to again make sure that the very tip of this tapered brush is just where the black is, so just very gently buff that out so it's not so much of a hard line. I'm just going to clean up some of that eyeshadow under the eyes now, so you can see how much drops down even if you're using a really strong primer. But there's always something with dark eyeshadows, which is why it's good to do the eyes first before you put your base on. Lovely. Okay. So I'm just going to very gently put some purple eyeliner onto the waterline. Just look up that way for me, Kate. And then look up the other way. Just look up this way for me. Yeah, and then the other way. Lovely, okay. So I'm going to leave the eyes like that for now, and then I'm going to embellish onto them afterwards, after I've done the foundation. So I'm just going to put the base on now. Going for a nice pale, slightly paler than Kate's skin tone. I'm just going to work this from the centre of the face out. So as you can see, as I always do, just doing fairly light layers and just really working it into the skin. I'm not a fan of really caking on foundation. I like to be able to see the skin underneath. But if you prefer more foundation, fuller coverage, then you go for it. It's whatever you want, really. Make it your own. Okay, so that's the foundation done. Just concealing now in any areas that just need a little bit of extra coverage. Stop that.
So sorry.
Okay, yeah, game face. You're a serious actor. Yeah. So just where there's any redness, just going in with this concealer, just around the nose. A little bit on the chin. Just going to take a little bit of the concealer underneath the eye there, just in the very corner, just to lift that slightly. going to quickly set the T-zone and under the eye, so just look up for me. Just a little bit of powder. Okay. So I'm just going to pop some eyeliner on now, so just close your eyes for me, Kate. And just going to keep that quite close to the lashes. And I'm using a gel eyeliner because I find this far easier to use. Just turn your head for me this way and close your eyes again. So as you can see, I'm sort of starting from the outer corner and then working my way across. The brush you use is really going to help you here for eyeliner, so make sure you get a small pointed brush like this, and then that will really help you get quite a nice fine line. And then just look down here where my hand is again. Sorry. Find that using a gel eyeliner is really great because you've got more time to work with it. So you know, if you use a kohl pencil or a liquid eyeliner particularly, you know, it sets, and then if you make a mistake, you can't easily adjust it, but you can blend out a gel and just make it look like any mistake you meant for it to be there. It's fine. I just find it easier to use. Lovely. Okay, that's the eyeliner done. I'm going to put some false eyelashes on now. And I've got some strip lashes here, and they're kind of fairly fluttery, but I'm going to cut them in half because I'm only going to use the inside bit here. And this inner corner of the lash will usually, close your eyes for me, Kate, go there. So you can see what bit that is, but instead I'm going to put this on the outer corner so that it blends into Kate's lashes. And I'm doing this because I don't want this to be a full-on lash look, but I just want a little bit of extra something to help create an extra winged look. So it follows the same shape as the eyeshadow. Let's pop a little bit of lash glue on there. And I'm going to just wiggle this lash a little bit. This will help kind of loosen it up and help it to bend into a shape that's going to be easier to apply it. So just wiggle that for a bit and just let the glue go a little bit tacky first before you try and apply it, because otherwise if you don't, then they'll just ping off. You find it really difficult to apply them if you don't let the glue go a bit tacky first.
That's a good point actually. Because everybody puts it on straight away, don't they?
And then they
just
ping off.
And,
Yeah, I have one lady, she was telling me that she tried to apply them once and she didn't do that, and she didn't trim them down either, because usually when you get them they're really far too long for most people's eyes. And she blinked and it flicked off and stuck to her eyebrow.
Oh no!
That's it. So I'm just going to pop that on, just on the outer corner. And because I've let the glue go a bit tacky, it's easier to place them. So, Kate, if you can just keep your eyes closed for me, just while that glue sets. And I shall do that on the other side. So this is the full lash, and you can see how it wings out. And I'm just going to cut that in half. Just wiggle that a bit so we get a good curve shape. Just pop some glue on. Just let the glue go tacky. And I'm just going to pop if you struggle with strip lashes applying them, then you might find that just doing this anyway is a good way to put false lashes on. Is just to cut them in half and just use one half of them, you know, and have them blend into your natural lashes, because it's more of a natural look, and they're more comfortable as well if you wear them like this. So then that glue will dry clear. So I'm just going to go in with a bit more gel eyeliner and just dot in where that glue is, just to help blend the lashes in. Nice, okay. So you can see that just helps to wing out the outer corner of the eye, and it just follows that slightly winged shape of the eyeshadow that we've created. So now I'm just going to put some mascara on. So if you just look down here for me, please, Kate. This is mainly concentrating that onto the lashes that we didn't put, you know, any false lashes over the top of, just to really blend them in. Lovely, look down here. Wonderful. So you see how they just blend right into Kate's lashes. So now going to focus on Kate's brows. So I'm going to start at the front and just draw a line, and then just going to draw that, bring that powder upwards. Going to create quite a high arch here, I think, and just work with your natural brow. Just going to taper that off at the ends. Just going to drag more of that, bit of that powder through the front there, but I'm not going to keep it super dark there. So most of the brow powder will be the end, through the middle and into the end of the brow. Okay, so that's the brows on. So I'm going to take the same icy light purple shade that I used in the centre of Kate's eyes to just highlight the high point of the brow bone there. And then look up for me, Kate. I'm just going to use that also in the very inner corner there as well, just to bring more light there. Just blend that in ever so slightly with that red shade. And I'm just going to just pop a little bit here as well, in between the brow and that line that we created. Lovely, okay. Fluffier brush, and just going to take this rust shade. It matches quite well with that orangey red shade that we popped on before, and I'm just going to go over slightly with that and just buff that. And I'm also going to take this very slightly over the high point of the brow, and I'm just going to blend that out. So there's really not much on the brush, but you've just got a wash of that rust shade there. You can blend that. I might do is use the same brush that I use for the foundation and just blend that in slightly. There's not really much product left on that brush, but it just helps to blend the product in. Lovely, okay, so that's that rust shade on. I'm going to use the same fluffy brush, and it doesn't matter that you've used that for the rust shade. Just take off a bit more on your hand. There's really, as you can see, there's nothing really much on there. And I'm going to use this fairly lighter aubergine shade. Pop some of that product on, tap the excess out. And now I'm going to very gently work that onto the top of Kate's cheekbones. And just thin layers, just building up. And I'm just going to work that up into the temples, to Kate's hairline. But keeping the centre, and more of the product here in the centre by the outer corner of Kate's eye. And then I'm just going to take a bit of grey and black here, mix them together a bit. Again, just in that centre bit. You can always kind of connect it with the shadow that you've done before. Don't want this to be too perfect. It's almost like it's almost like smoke, or just, some carbon or something, like you just set fire to your enemies. You set fire to something anyway.
Behind the sun.
Yeah. Just creating that kind of smoke shape. Nice. I'm going to use a grey cream. And I'm using a sort of brush here. This is densely packed fibres. It's brilliant for foundation and contouring. So I'm just going to feel with my finger just where Kate's cheekbone is. And you just want to go slightly underneath. So starting at the ear. And I don't want to go any further with this cream contour than Kate's pupil in her eye. And that's, you can take that away for all sorts of contouring. Obviously not with grey for every day. Well, maybe you do want to have grey contour every day. But I'm just sweeping that into the face from the ear. And that's underneath Kate's cheekbone. Lovely. And with my foundation brush, I'm just going to blend that a little bit. I'm going to take that same product on a fluffy brush, and I'm just going to run that very gently down the side of Kate's nose. And on the tip. And then once again, just go over slightly with the foundation brush. And then just lift your chin up for me. I'm just going to take this product just on the jawline. Then I'm also going to take it on Kate's hairline as well. So I'm just going to go over that just to warm the grey up ever so slightly, just with a matte bronzer on a fluffy brush. And I'm going to sweep this across almost like a blusher, really. Just takes that harshness of the grey, just warms it up ever so slightly. And I quite like the warm, fiery tones mixed with the cool tones of the grey and the black and the purple. Just sweep that across the face. So you can really see just how this bronzer brings those tones together. Everything works together on the face now. I'm going to use a purpley red shade. And just close for me. So to start with, I'm just following Kate's natural lip shape. Just using a lip brush, I find it far easier for me. So that's the base shade on. And then I'm going to work in a very, very dark purple just to give more depth to the mouth. Okay. So once again, just building up, just working in the inner corner of the mouth now. Just close for me, okay. So we have that pale a bit in the centre there. I'm just going to sort of accentuate the Cupid's bow with this purple as well, and make the top lip a little bit pointy. Lovely. Yeah, so just open for me. Make sure that I've got this colour going right into the inner corner. Lovely, okay. I'm going to take a little bit of that icy purple that I used and just highlight the Cupid's bow there. So you can see this icy purple's just really highlighted the Cupid's bow. It's just really brought that out. Okay, so now I'm just going to pop a few crystals on, just on the outer corner of the eye here. So I've just put a little bit of eyelash glue on the back of my hand, and now I've just got the end of a brush and I'm just going to dot on a few bits of glue. And putting these in random places. And I can use a selection of crystals. I've got some purple and some black. I'm going to use both. Last but not least, I'm going to take this powder pigment and I'm going to flick some onto Kate's face, as you do. I'm just working on the outer corner here. Again, this is going to go and kind of help with the singed look, which I quite like the idea of that. I've been using her magic. It's a little bit singed. So now we've finished flicking the black pigment around. I've sort of taken it slightly onto Kate's cheekbone as well there, because I quite like the way that it dropped down naturally. So I've just taken it a little bit further around, and that's pretty much it. Join us in part 2 for the hair tutorial and to see the finished look.